You asked for this one. I've been getting comments and messages all month. What are you planning for the fall? So today, that's exactly what we're doing. The full list of fall for the Lost Acre. But here's the thing. Knowing what to plant is only half the battle. Getting fall seedlings into the ground in the middle of summer when it's 100+ degrees kills more plants than people realize. So after the list, I'm giving you the 4 things you need to know to transplant in the heat without losing them. Stay to the end for those. Welcome back to the farm. I'm going to go over what we're growing for fall of 2026. Keep in mind we're in zone 9B, Central California, so it gets really hot. Our first frost is November 25th, so our zinnias, our dahlias will all make it to that point. So we still have a lot of flowers available to us. We also have lisianthus. That'll get a second flush usually late September, sometimes early October, just depends on the weather. So that will be available to us. So fall is not our biggest planting. It's probably one of the most difficult though because of the weather. And again, we'll get into that on the second half of this video. The first thing on our list is aster, both blue and red. We tend to use the red in the fall as a fresh flower, and then we'll dry the blue, and the blue we will use in the spring most of the time. Straw flowers, vintage white and apricot. Again, the apricot is more of a fall flower, so we'll use it fresh. And the vintage white will dry for use in the spring. And then celosia is the next one on our list of the stuff we're gonna dry. So we do a bright pink, that's for the spring. And pampas plume is a mixed variety that we will use for the fall. Next on our list is sunflowers. So we do 2. We can grow sunflowers all the way through October. We actually usually have them close to Halloween. So we're gonna do a pro-cut dark orange. So that one, we switch from yellows to orange because of fall. And then maybe my favorite branching flower for fall, it's called, I'm gonna say this right, Darjeeling, I believe. It's a branching sunflower, like I said, but it just reminds me of Halloween. So it looks like it could be a warlock or a witch or something. I'm gonna add 1 zinnia. So we do a queen lime blush for spring and summer. So we're gonna add a queen lime red for fall, just a darker tone to it. The red's a little bit more intense is where the other one obviously is a light pink. And then orange tall marigolds. Where we live, obviously for Halloween that's great, but Day of the Dead is a big event. And if you are not familiar with what Day of the Dead is, you can watch the movie Coco from Disney. And as a matter of fact, you can help me with something here on the farm that has to kind of do with that movie. So this is our eucalyptus tree stump planter, and every season we like to change out the bottom part of the planter and do a design in it. This year I got a picture from when we were at Disneyland a couple of years ago of their Coco display, so we're gonna try and replicate it. And I'm gonna need your help because in that picture there's a yellow flower. I will post it here or make it part of the whole screen. And that yellow flower, I have 2 choices and I'm gonna ask you to pick which one we use. I have a black-eyed Susan, Indian Summer, and a calendula that's called Flashbacks Mix. Put pictures of both up, and in the comments, vote number 1 for the Black-Eyed Susan, or put a number 2 for the calendula. I'll also pin a comment to the top so you remember which one's which, and whoever gets the most votes, that's the one we'll plant in here, and I'll show you what it looks like in a later video. All right, that's the list. Now here's how you actually get them in the ground, because if you're planting any of these in August, the heat is the thing that will kill them before fall even starts. This is our forecast. Transplant in the evening. The single biggest mistake people make is they transplant in the morning thinking they're giving the plant a full day to settle in. What they're actually giving is a full day of heat stress with damaged roots that can't keep up. When you pull a seedling out of its cell or pot, you damage the fine root hairs that absorb water. The plant is now losing water through its leaves faster than the damaged roots can replace it. That's transplant shock. At 100+ degree heat, that equation gets even worse by the hour. Transplanting in the evening, the plant gets a full cool night to start recovering before it faces the sun again. That 12 hours of darkness is the difference between a plant that establishes and one that's wilted by noon tomorrow. Pre-hydrate everything a few hours before transplant. Water the seedlings deeply in their trays and water the bed you're planting into. Both need to be fully saturated before the transplant happens. A dry seedling going into dry soil in summer heat is a death sentence. The roots can't make contact with moisture. The soil pulls water away from the roots ball instead of feeding it, and the plant dehydrates from both directions at once. A saturated seedling going into saturated soil gives the roots immediate access to moisture the moment they're in the ground. The plant then starts recovering instead of struggling. After you transplant, your normal watering schedule is not enough for new plants in the summer until the roots establish, which takes roughly a week. Water early in the morning and again in the afternoon. The root ball of a transplant is small. It dries out fast. The surrounding soil might be moist, but if the root ball itself dries, the plant can't access any of it. Twice a day watering keeps the root ball moist while the roots grow outward into the surrounding soil. Once you see new leaf growth, the roots are established and you can shift back to your normal schedule. New growth above ground means new roots below ground. That's the signal the transplant took. This is the one nobody talks about. Everyone worries about the heat, but the real problem starts in the tray, when you let the seedling get too big before you move it. Think of it like this: the more leaves it has, the more water it sweats out. If the roots are still tiny, the plant just can't drink fast enough to keep up with the sweat in the 105 degrees. A smaller seedling with less leaf material puts less demand on the roots during transplant. Less sweating, less water needed. The roots can actually keep up while it gets established in the new soil. So start with a smaller plant. That's the fall planting plan and the 4 things that keep them alive when you have to plant them out in the heat. Now I want to hear from you. In the comments, let me know which plant to use in our fall eucalyptus planter. If you're new here and this is your first video, we grow flowers, we figure out what works and what doesn't, and we talk about it like neighbors. If that sounds like the kind of thing you'd like, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you here. Check out our How We Grow 5,000 Flower video series, and until next time, live life in full bloom.